are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello. Greetings, everyone. You're now listening to the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the home for original people. Original people, peace, prosperity, and reciprocity. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast, and I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. So here we are, the weekend. I do this every single weekend. My narrators already know the situation in the demonstration, but allow me to give a brief walkthrough to my content, about my content to new listeners or someone unfamiliar with my platform. So first of all, let's start at the top, the Narrative Podcast. Start with the word narrative. Basically, the reason why I'm doing this podcast is because I believe the media weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. So basically, what I want to do with my platform is to be the answer for the misrepresentation of my people by the media. And I do that by addressing all the issues and basically flipping the narrative about the way we're portrayed in the media. The media weaves a false narrative about our people, and it's done intentionally. They do it under the name of entertainment. They do it to sell news, primarily to sell news, but they do also do it in the name of entertainment, and then also to market us as an unsalvageable people, market us as a drain on the resources, not an attribute and a contributing factor to humanity. So they do this by playing up, negative stereotypes about our people and within our cultures, and just broaden the stigmas and the stereotypes, and make us look a certain way to everyone, because that's what they do. They manipulate information. They intentionally misrepresent facts, and again, all for profit, and also to help strengthen the socioeconomic stronghold of dominant society over anybody that basically isn't white. So, they make everybody look a certain way, especially our people. That's what we always got to acknowledge, the especially part, especially us. So on my platform, what I wanted to do is, destroy those negative stereotypes about us by providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Matter of fact, the tagline of my podcast is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. I get to the original part in just a second. The ultimate takeaway I want from my listening audience to gain from my content is the importance of why it's important to share positive content about our people and our culture on your platforms. You're a grown man, you're a grown woman, you can post whatever you like, whatever your interest is, whatever you're into, you can post it online. That's why they call social media. It's like, it's social. It's supposed to be a socializing ground. You can post whatever you like on your platform. But here's the thing. These days, in the era we're living in, whatever you post online is a carbon footprint of you. People associate whatever you post online with your beliefs and your value systems and, your personal interests and who you are as a person. They equate that to, the content that you post online. So just imagine our people, if we're always posting content that feeds into these negative stereotypes that the media projects about us. So if we're always posting, violence culture, gang culture, violence culture, thought culture, pimp culture, whore culture, F-boy culture, um, you know, people are going to have a skewed, warped perception of our people. So that's why it's important for us to always post positive content, and that's my ultimate thing that my podcast is dedicated to. I'm all about posting. My content is just indicative of leadership, unity, excellence, overcoming adversity, giving back, and just highlighting and showcasing that we are a dutiful people and we contribute to humanity. We're not a drain on the resources. Um, that we're all encompassing and we're so diverse and beautiful, basically. So that's what my aim is for my podcast. Um, And that's what I'm trying to get across to everyone that listens to my podcast is how important it is to post positive content about my people and my culture instead of always, feeding into the negativity and always entertaining gossip, rumors, and, negative stereotypes and negative stigmas about our people and our culture. Um, Now, I noticed you noticed that I said original a lot. Um, and I say that because I believe original is a better descriptive word to describe us as a people versus black. Now, in the beginning of civilization, in the beginning of time, we was here about 5,000 years before everybody on the planet. And we did a whole lot of things in that time. And one of the things we did was create, spoken language and written language. And so when we created that word black, we made it mean something regal, something opulent, that reflects opulence, something powerful, something impactful, something dignified. But, as time passed and, other civilizations began to spring up, it brought forth colonizers, people, who were intent not to be within the culture, but they wanted to take the culture for their own. They wanted to flip the narrative and design everything in their image and their likeness. And to do that, they basically threw other cultures under the bus and they started recording and changing history. And in doing so, they started changing the etymology of words to suit their narrative. And one of the words they did that with is the word black. And especially here in, America, in the Americas, if you look in any dictionary and look at the word black, it's basically negative. It symbolizes death, sickness, famine, suffering, and the end of all things, the way how they got it in the dictionary. But before they get to all that, they go out of their way to denote, you know, black meaning people possessing pigmentation, dark-skinned people possessing, people possessing dark pigmentation, usually descending from Africa. So that's already letting you know they're talking about us. And then they go into all these descriptive words and ways in which to use the word black. And that's the only color in the dictionary that denotes origin or nationality. And, it'll say something along the lines of black, desolate, gloomy, dark, emotionally dark, gloomy, desolate, death, just anything negative you can think of is equated with the word black. And that has over time wreaked something on our subconscious as a people. And, and if you look at us here, especially in America, and look at the condition and the state that our people's in, and then also abroad, from being labeled as black and having black ingrained into us, what it means in a negative way, versus how every other race on the planet is. Now, but what I also discovered, the word original doesn't have pretty much any negative connotation. The word original basically hints at the beginning. It basically hints at uniqueness, authenticity. Basically, the original thing is the real deal, and everything is in comparison to the origin, pale in comparison to the original. And the original is, basically the template for everything else, how they got in the dictionary. And I feel that describes us as, a people. That's more appropriate to describe us as a people. Now, if you want to still use the word black or refer to yourself as black or, whatever, just on my platform, I think original describes us better as a people. So, I'm not a Moor. I'm gonna say that off the rip because, Moors say we shouldn't call ourselves black, but I'm not a Moor. Although I've read many books and a whole lot of literature of Moorish leaders, such as like Noble Drew Ali, but to each their own. If you want to call yourself black or be referred to as black, then so be it. But that's just like it's psychosomatic. It's psychological warfare at its best. How they weaponize the word black against us. But anyway, back to the original part. So original, just basically it's more powerful, it's more impactful, and it's a more accurate description of who we are as a people. We were the first people on this planet. We were here 5,000 years before everyone else. We didn't crawl out of any primordial ooze. We didn't evolve from monkeys, chimpanzees, orangutans, baboons, apes. None of that. No primordial creature. We weren't gorillas, Also, we weren't living in caves. We weren't, slouching and have a cranial overbite. Like we was fully evolved or fully put together. We was standing erect. We was building land masses. We made tools. You know, original just describes us better because we originated everything when you think about it. We originated science. We originated mathematics. We originated the spoken and written word. We originated alchemy. We originated chemistry, biology, just any random topic you can think of, any random invention you can think of. We most likely, when you trace it all the way back to its origins, it originated from us. And then to piggyback off that, we were like originally located in pretty much every corner of the globe. So even over in Europe, like we was the original Greeks, we was the original Romans, you know, Europe and the Mediterranean. Hey, we was the original Asians. We was the original, you know, natives here in the Americas. We was the original natives. So when they're talking about Christopher Columbus raped the, you know, stole, or like when the pilgrims, excuse me, talking a little too fast. When the pilgrims like raped the Indians and stole the land, they're talking about us because we was already originally here. So while slavery did happen, it was a very real thing within our culture, and a whole lot of us came over into America and parts of Europe via slavery through the transatlantic slave trade and chattel slavery. It wasn't the case for all of us. It wasn't the case for all of us. Some of us was just already indigenously, originally located there. Like, you know, Hawaii, we was the original Samoans, original Pacific Islanders. I mean, you can look at our presence anywhere on the earth. Anywhere there's stone architecture, you look at the statues, and then you look at the people that's there. Now, do the statues resemble the people that's there, or do they look more like people descending from Africa? The features, the physical features of the statues. Presuming that the statues are humanoid, not like dragons and whatever. But anyway, like I said, I try to refer to our people as original as often as possible on my platform. And with that being said, I'm get on underway into the content. I'm gonna give you a small disclaimer. This is a monetized platform, so you know, I'm recording right now, but ads will occur all throughout the proceedings of me doing the podcast. I don't know when they'll insert ads, but just stay tuned and listen all the way through the end, and you will be rewarded. Another thing, my content is broken down into sections. Each section has a speaking point. I go over each section as I come to them. The reason why I'm doing that, because when I started my podcast, I noticed I didn't really have a format. I didn't really have a plan. I just used to talk and talk and talk. And for that, you know, no one was listening. Like I had no real like listening audience. And so I streamlined it. I took a step back. I decided to focus on something. I want to focus on my people, uplifting and edifying my people. So I broke it down into sections. You know, I want my content to be digestible, cohesive, and cognitive, and, you know, just be able to resonate with you. You don't have to clear your entire schedule if you miss an episode to catch up. So like if I would call my content anything or label it something, I would say I'm the drive time show of the conscious community. So like if you get what you need, get fortified with what you need in a time efficient manner. So I hope that does it for you and breaks it down what my content is all about and what I'm attempting to do in this digital space that I'm occupying. So without any further ado, diving right on into the content, my very first section is the promo section. And in this section, what I'm doing is I'm giving original people that own or operate their own business or have a product or a service that they need promoted to hit me up for some free promotion. And the reason why I'm giving out the free promotion is to do my part to help circulate the original people dollar and the original people community. Because while we are due reparations, it's a must that we support, endorse, and promote each other. So if I can do whatever I can do to help you grow your business, I'll do it. I'm just anticipating when you grow your business, you'll hire your own and do something for the community in which you're rooted in. And leave something for future generations to look forward to. So here we go with the promotional section. If you need or like or know of anybody that would need or like free promotion for their business, product, or service, please hit me up, Halsey Allen at PassionWebMill at PoeticPassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo in the body of the email. Tell me a little bit about your product or service, a little bit about yourself as well. The more detailed you are, the better advertisement endorsement I can give you. So the more information you supply me with, the better the drop will be. So, be specific as possible. Like if you're an online business, tell me everything. Include your tagline if you got a tagline. The best email address to reach you at, how to place the orders. If you're a physical location, or if you're a brick and mortar location, tell me the address, the hours of operation, how much people does your establishment hold? Do they have to do any special things like, say, if you're an eatery, do they have to call in advance to reserve seating? Any special ordering rituals you might have to do, like wait to be seated and all that. Include all of that information in it, and I'll try to make it real spiffy for you. So hit me up at PassionWebMill at PoeticPassion.host if you are in need or would like some free promotion for your business, product, or service. All right, and now for my second section. My second section is called the contest section. Currently, I'm hosting a contest, and basically it's an incentive to incentivize people to listen to my podcast and reward people that have been listening to my podcast by giving them the opportunity to get a free prize for listening to my podcast. All they have to do is enter the contest. The contest entry is free. I'm not charging any money. I'm actually just giving you a bulk supply of your favorite snack. Again, as a reward for listeners, dedicated listeners, and also to, with the anticipation of drawing in new listeners. So tell a friend to tell a friend to listen to Halsey Allen on the Narrative Podcast. You will be rewarded So as my platform grows and I get more sponsorships, the prizes will be more, lavish. But right now, what I can afford to do is give you a bulk supply of your favorite snack. So to get it, you hit me up at the same exact email address that I just gave for the promotion, except for one thing. In the subject bar, that's how I'm separating the two. So in the subject bar for the contest, you will hit me up at Poetic Passion Webmail at poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar for the contest, hit Chew On This. That's the name of the contest. /or- Shopping While Black. That's the topic that I want you to participate in. And if you don't want to type the whole word Shopping While Black, you can type SWB in all caps. And yeah. So to get that, like I said, just hit me up at Passion Webmail, poeticpassion.host. Subject bar, type Shopping While Black or SWB, or Chew On This /or- Shopping While Black and SWB in all caps. Body of the email include your mailing address so I know where to send your prize to. Your most recent Shopping While Black experience, because that's the contest topic is, Shopping While Black. So tell me about your most recent Shopping While Black encounter. And then include what type of snack you would like. And I'll send it to you free of charge. I'll handle the shipping and handling and all that. So all you got to do is just hit me up. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. So got that out the way. Now diving into the core content of the Narrative Podcast. This is the actual content. The first two is just like a little warm up stretch. But here we go into the authentic first section of the Narrative Podcast. This section is called the highlight section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting original people that own and operate their own businesses. And the reason why I'm doing that is to give the positive frame of reference about entrepreneurship. As we're not given many frames of reference about entrepreneurship, about owning and operating your own business. We don't have any like reality television shows about that. And then when we do, they don't last very long. They're usually like canceled in one season when it's positive. Now we got shows like, Love and Hip Hop, which is a whole bunch of young professionals with the accumulated wealth of well over six figures in the entire cast, but all that gets overshadowed by the dysfunction and the violence. So I'm giving you just straight up positive frames of reference, no dysfunction, no violence about, entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, brand promoting, giving you the positive frame of reference that if you want to start your own business, it can be done because the people that I highlight in the highlight section were just like you and I, working 9-to-5 jobs. Some of them was, working at the Excelsior level, like CEOs at Fortune 500 companies, working for some other people, while others were just, barely above minimum wage, maybe like upper middle class or working class. But they decided to, invest in themselves, pursue something that they were passionate about, and, live happy while fulfilling their dream, or being happy because they're, fulfilling that their life's calling. They want to do something different with their life, something that interested them and something that made them happy. And so they decide to start, whatever business, product, or service. Also in the highlight section, all the businesses that I highlight, um, give back to the community. They either have their own nonprofit organizations or pay into one. So like they hire their own, they donate their resources to the community, like whatever the community needs, whether it be like financial literacy or educational or vocational skills training, um, or jobs, or just, hire people from the community, food, whatever. Their business supplies it. Um, Also, my last qualifying factor for the highlight section, each business that I highlight aligns up with my monthly theme and or seasonal theme, as the case may be. And my theme right now, from like now to the end of May, is the season of spring. So all the business that I'll be highlighting in the highlight section will be reflective of the season of spring. And so having said that, let's dive right on into the highlight section. Business I'll be highlighting today, businesses that I will be highlighting today is just something I think about when I think of the season of spring. And something people do a lot in the springtime is travel. You know, like children in school, they take spring vacations. Adults also, travel cross country in the springtime. So, springtime is a heavy travel holiday. I think the only one bigger is summer, of course. Summer and, well, yeah, people travel in the winter too for Christmas. But I think like spring kind of trumps them, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but nevertheless, so um, the businesses that I'll be highlighting today will be focusing on the area of travel. And so what do you need to travel? What's one of the first things you need to travel besides, the your mode of how you're going to get to whatever destination you're going to? You're going to need to pack for the trip. And what do you need? You need to bring all your items that you need for the trip. So you need luggage. So today's businesses that I'll be highlighting in the highlight section are original people owned and operated luggage companies. So first on the list is Made Leather Co. And the proprietor's name is one Lanice Williams. And it was established in 2017. And you can visit her website at madeleathercompany.com. She always had a passion for starting her own business. She wanted to be an example to her children, teach them the fundamentals about entrepreneurship. So she already had a pretty nice job. She was in corporate America, earning about, at least 5 figures. She was on a business trip to Morocco for a speaking engagement that she had. And while there, she was inspired by the craftsmanship and quality of, the leather, of the leather. So she purchased some leather bags And, on the plane ride home, just a light bulb went off and she decided to just make her own bags using, you know, Moroccan leather. So she began researching, vendors and all that, and who can supply her with it and all that good stuff that she would need to know. And ultimately, after some trial and error, she just did a few prototypes. And then in 2017, she decided to make it official and launch her own line of luggage. Um, Her brand caught the eyes of several players in the NFL and Hollywood celebrities as well. But it was the NFL players that made her, as they say, go viral because they was posting her luggage, her bags on their social media accounts, specifically Instagrams. And people began to ask, where they get the bag, how do they get the bags. Um, And then after that, it just like it was a snowball effect. She started getting invited to talk shows and getting booked for podcasts and local news. And then after that, now she's an established, well-known brand and living her dream. So go support Miss Williams and the Leather Company. Your warm narrative podcast to Miss Lanice Williams and the Made Leather Co. All right. Okay. Second business I'll be highlighting in the highlight section comes to you from a one Miss Sonia M. Solomon. And the name of the company is E.B. Ray. Um, she used to be a senior exec in for a banking firm. And while during their travel, she always, had to travel and go across country and overseas to represent the company, but she didn't like the baggage selection. So she decided to create her own baggage, her own line of luggage. So, in 2014, she launched the line and decided to quit her job, and thus E.B. Rain was born. Um, I try to be as thorough as possible in these. I try to give you the whole, evolutionary process of the journey to let you know, the starting stage, the prototype stage, how they get the name, how they get inspired to create the product, how, where they get the inspiration to name it, where they get the financial uh, means to kickstart the company, and, how that first year go for them and all that. I try to include them every single segment, but every single segment, it's not guaranteed you can find the information in every single segment. Well, no, I'm probably going to start reaching out to the companies before I do my broadcast and ask questions like that, do some cold calling. I think I'll probably start doing that in the future, but that's what I attempt to do in this section is just to show you the process that, you can step out on faith, but it takes some work. All right. Now for my very last business in the highlight section is the business created by one Mr. Stephen Davis, and the name of the company is the Takeoff Baggage. You had to follow it. Just type it in your browser when you go to Instagram because that's how he's currently advertising it. So it doesn't have a .com website. You would have to just type it in when you go to Instagram. Takeoff Baggage. It's basically a suitcase that converts to a carry-on. So he came up with this design of that out of necessity because he got tired of getting charged, extra for carry-ons and whatnot. So his last trip that pushed him over the edge was when he was flying Spirit, and we know how great and flying experience Spirit Airlines is, don't we? But basically his baggage fee cost more than his airline ticket, and he's like, oh no, we're gonna do something with that. So that was his focal point is his focal point because he's still in business. Is try to cut the cost of baggage fees by, creating a means in which you have more carry-ons than you would have luggage that you would have to put in the overhead compartment or down in the cargo hold. But anyway, that's a great innovative idea. I don't think I've ever heard that. Like a piece of luggage, it transforms into a carry-on. So that's innovative to say the least. He's going viral right now for it. He's in tons of articles, but it doesn't really say. It's not a lot of background on it. Like I said, it's hit and miss with these. Sometimes I can plug in and get interviews where they're on YouTube or somebody else's podcast. But no such luck with that one this week. But rest assured, these segments will be better and better as my platform's getting bigger. So my notes will be more detailed when I have the information to detail them. But anyway, go support Takeoff Baggage and Mr. Stephen Davis. And give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Stephen Davis and the Takeoff Baggage Company, or Takeoff Baggage. All right, now to my next section of the Narrative Podcast. This is a spotlight section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm spotlighting a prominent figure within our community. The reason why I'm doing that is to give them the roses while they're here and to create the healthy habit of us saying something positive about our brothers and our sisters instead of always using our social media platforms to, drag each other through the mud, call each other's names and denigrate each other online. Because we are the only people that do that. Like, social media is the gift and the curse because for our people, some of us use it for what is, designed to be for. It's designed to network, and it's designed for like-minded people to find each other and create, amazing things. But instead, we use it to tear each other down, not build each other up. To call each other names and get the errand dirty laundry and drag people into our disagreements that don't even have anything to do with the person that we have the issue with. We sitting up there bringing the grandmother and the children into it and, all that. And we're the only people to do it. So I wanted to create a section where I'm just, bigging somebody up for all their accomplishments and, how they make us look as a people. And to my own credit, I started the wave for spotlighting because before I added a spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrative Podcast, nobody on the internet, YouTube, anywhere was spotlighting anyone. Now, every time you pull out your browser, your device, click something online, if it's some type of show or some type of podcast, we're talking, today's special, today we'll be spotlighting this person, that person. Today we'll be spotlighting, this and that, this person, that person. Nobody was doing that until I added a spotlight section of my podcast. Big facts. You can go all through my episode logs and do the research for yourself. It wasn't nobody doing it. And I'm not mad that so many people are doing it now because like I said, the intended purpose was to create the healthy habit of saying something nice about your brother or sister instead of something denigrating and demoralizing and berating all the time. Because we get enough of that from people outside of our culture. We don't have to engage in that. The industry rewards that. They love it when we're at odds. This is like a multi-billion dollar a year industry, to keep us at odds with one another. Like the incentive is there for us to talk bad about each other. The algorithms go up, you get more money for the clicks and the views when it's people clapping back at each other online and slinging dirt, rather as opposed to somebody saying something nice about somebody. But anyway, so like I said, I started the wave for spotlighting. No one else was doing it before I was. Give it up for me.
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. All right. Today's spotlight goes to WNBA legend, Miss Lisa Leslie, born on July 7th, 1972, Grew up in Compton, California. Her father was a professional ball player himself. Her mother had her own truck driving company. She went to Morning High, graduated from USC with a bachelor's in communication, and then 1997 got drafted to the WNBA, and as they say, the rest is history. Today, I'm giving her the spotlight. Oh, I did skip over that part. I got so passionate about, why I'm doing the spotlight, I skipped over all the parameters. So let me back up a bit. So in the spotlight section, I spotlight prominent figures within our community. It's usually like actors, actresses, entertainers, athletes, comedians, public figures. I also highlight religious figures. Basically anybody that has a public platform in the eye of the public, has a polarizing platform, that speaks on our issues candidly and unapologetically, and who also, does, philanthropy, giving back, social justice, political activism, just anything positive, anything impactful, any type of, board or committee or, like I said, charity work. That's the type of people that I spotlight. And then also just spotlight people for being good visual representations of us. Out here just making us all look good visually, aesthetic wise, aesthetically carrying the way they carry and conduct themselves as a king or a queen or a god or a goddess. And so today's spotlight definitely fits that mold. Miss Lisa Leslie. So I already went into her bio. In addition to, her being in the WNBA, she also has been on, doing some stuff behind the scenes, commentating on sports, what else does she do? I did have that I forgot to put that in the notes. Let me see right quick. Well, obviously commentating on sports. I think she manages some teams too. Mm-hmm. Do, 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 do. She's the head coach for the triplets in the Big Three, Fox News, and an analyst for the Orlando Magic broadcast on Fox Sports in Florida. And probably a whole lot of more hats that she wears, but yes, most definitely worthy and deserving of the spotlight for today on the Narrative Podcast. She is also very good friends with the late Kobe Bryant, and just pretty much anybody like that was in the same circle as Kobe is like still sharp and still. So he was attached to a lot of greatness. So she was in his presence. So That's one of them people that just bring out the best of you, like in a good way, the competition in a good way to make you strive to be a better person. Or maybe with their friendship, it might have been the other round. Maybe she pushed him to do his best. I don't know the extent of their friendship, but I know she was good friends with Kobe Bryant. And I actually do, another reason why I'm giving her the spotlight is because she refused to play the game back in the when Gayle King had her interview and she was asking her all these leading questions that she didn't take the bait and didn't, you know, defile Kobe's memory by, you know, saying something that wasn't true. Like she didn't fall into the trap. She was just like, no, my experience with Kobe, that he wasn't like that. Y'all saw the interview. She just kept on trying to push and push and push, and you know the story wasn't there. Like, you know, she wasn't having it. So she's a very good, lighthearted person. She also gives back. She's been you know, a spokesperson on so many boards. She's currently advocating for cancer awareness, and she has her own nonprofit organization called the Women's Sports Foundation. And you know, like I said, good, aesthetically pleasing for us as a people. She keeps herself, you know, up. She's married. Never really heard nothing messy about Lisa Leslie. Nothing, you know, you ain't never really heard no craziness, no domestic situation with the hubby. Like, pretty much, she's a good stand-up sister, and for that, she definitely deserves a spotlight for being the inspiration to so many other young sisters. To have somebody to look up to inspire them for greatness. So give a Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for Mrs. Lisa Leslie. On to my next section. This section is called the Health and Wellness, and the Health and Wellness section is dedicated to, you know, the total body health and wellness to original people. Like, anybody can listen to my podcast, but pretty much all the content on here is directed at my people. So in this section, what I'm giving is, you know, health and wellness tips to my people to maintain sound mind, body, and soul. Basically, we got to armor up. They throw so many things at us. They're putting things in the food, putting things in the air, putting things in the water, and you know, products that we use every single day in daily use that is absolutely toxic to our physiology, and you know, ultimately, in a large scheme of things, is being manufactured to wipe us out. So I already said, you know, I started off the podcast telling you how they weaponize the media against us to basically, you know, break down our mental and desensitize us and make us accept things that are not normal. We normalize things that are not normal within our culture. Like, it's not normal to grow up in a household without two parents. It's not normal. It's not normal to just be living under or just right at the poverty level. That's not normal. It's not normal to wake up and go to sleep in violence. It's not normal to be a certain age and don't own anything. It's not normal to be like over 30 and got to check in with your PO. But like I said, they're breaking down our resistance by, bombarding us with all this negativity, and ultimately disrupting our thought patterns by making us look at ourselves in a certain way and accept it, accept these images that they show us about us, and which ultimately leads to sickness. Them always showing us in depravity and, just showing no way out, that ultimately leads to actually, physical illness. This is why they call illnesses dis-ease, because it all starts in the mind. Because when your mind is at dis-ease, it manifests into illnesses, like in the body, specifically our community. So when your mind's at dis-ease, it'll manifest into, just common illnesses in our community, gout, high blood pressure, type 1, type 2 diabetes. What else? Cancer. Just, anything. So I'm just teaching you in this section, or sharing with you rather, because I'm not an expert to say teaching, just sharing with you tips that you can stay more healthy, active, and fit, and virile, and live a prosperous life. Because we have to stay armored up, because we're being attacked mentally, physically, and spiritually. So that's what I'm giving you in this section, is how to armor up mentally, physically, and spiritually. So for example, you will hear on the physical side of it, things to help keep you active. You might hear things coming from me, the health benefits of a fruit, vegetable, herb, plant, root, elixir, or something to help keep you, feeling healthy internally, something you can apply topically for your skin or whatever, or ingest to keep you healthy. Physical exercises you can perform to, be at your peak maximum fitness level. And then mental things to, protect your mental state, such as mindfulness and mindful breathing, meditation. And then for a wild card, every once in a blue moon, I'll say, I might, just speak on metaphysical things, spiritual things, But enough of all that, diving right into the content. Today's health and wellness tip of the day is sunlight. I think I've said that in the past several episodes ago, probably like when I first started doing it. For our people, it is a must to get your sunlight. Because contrary to all unpopular belief, vitamin D comes from the sun, not a cow. And for our people, exposure to sunlight means health. Because while other people that don't have the level of melanin, or AKA carbon, or carbon AKA melanin, because it was carbon first. But, the way we supercharge that is through the sunlight. Because while other people, get all kinds of blisters and rashes in the sun, we actually just thrive. That's why when you go overseas to like the islands, places like Jamaica, places like Haiti, and here in the States, like the southern states, you would notice that the people are in better health because they're getting all that sunlight. With our people, like, we just get stronger in the sun. We process minerals and vitamins like we replicate. We're the only beings on Earth that can replicate the photosynthesis process in plants. The way plants absorb, their food, we do it too. When we get exposed to sunlight, our hair gets longer, our skin becomes more clear, we're more energetic, we get physically stronger. That's why in California you see all them dudes out there buffing in Muscle Beach, all the brothers and sisters out there. And you look around, like in between sets, the people that don't possess the melanin, they get all tired. Like we ain't even cracked the switch yet. But anyway, so today's health and wellness tip is sunlight, the benefits of it for us, for our people. Like I said, it clears up your skin, it helps energize you, and it just cleanses you like externally and internally. So whatever you do, no matter what you're doing, got going on with your day, make sure you get outside if you are a melanated person and get you some sunlight. No matter what you got going on, make some time to go outside and absorb some sunlight. The more you absorb it, the better you will feel. Perform physical exercises in the daytime. When you're in the house, try to, pull them blinds back, them drapes. Let that sunlight up in there. And then at night, get you, halogenic bulbs. They replicate sunlight. So try to get some halogenic light bulbs inside. Because they mimic sunlight. All right, so after the health and wellness tip, I'm off to my speaking point of the day. And my speaking point of the day is usually just like regular news, breaking news, current affairs, whatever is trending in the media, especially about us. Anything about us, especially. But it could be world news or there's something going on, and I unpack it from our perspective. Because as the old saying goes, you got to tell your own story. We'll have your story told for you. And that is precisely what's going on with my people. So I got to be the voice to unpack it, from our perspective, whatever is going on in the world, whether it be worldwide news or within our community, because the media would have us looking and sounding crazy. All right. Sometimes I don't have a topic because there's nothing like trending that week or that day, or nothing I feel that's like worth discussing. But in the event on days like that, I just might give a PSA about our people, and by us. When I say us, I mean me too. Some things we need to work on as a people. But today is not one of those days. I actually do have a topic that I want to discuss, just very briefly, because it's big and huge and it's trending everywhere. So, the former president of the United States has been indicted. And I know a whole lot of people want to go, especially our people, for all the low down, rotten, disgusting, vile things that he said about us during his presidency. Things he sat back and watched and let happen to us during his presidency. But let's talk about it like on the whole. What does that mean for us as a people? What does this mean for us as a nation? Him being indicted. To paraphrase the late Malcolm X, when JFK got assassinated, chickens come home to roost. And back then they didn't want to hear that, but what that saying implies, it's a really old saying. It goes all the way back from down south. You know, chickens in the barnyard, they always come home at night. So basically, chickens are creatures of habit. So what Brother Malcolm was saying in that instance was when JFK got killed, he wasn't saying like, yay, let's clap. You know, he's dead. That's not what he was saying. What he was saying was, you know, chickens are creatures of habit. Like, you send killers, you send assassins your government sends assassins to assassinate people. They send killers to kill people. And this time, your own assassins kills one of your leaders. That's what he was saying in that moment. But, you know, in that moment, they took it as disrespect. They took it as him mocking, having a leader whom they felt at the time was, you know, greater than sliced bread. But anyway, how this applies in this situation, chickens has come home to roost. So we already know everything, you know, Trump was doing in office during his reign, all the things he stole, all the things he lied about, you know, all the despicable, immoral things he did, the stupid things he was saying, and just like how much he didn't really, like he didn't even attempt, because like, let me just say the presidency, like diplomacy, like that, like all of that is a finesse. The voting process is a big finesse. But Trump, he didn't even want to entertain, like he didn't even want to sell it. He didn't want to even finesse. Like Trump would, man, I give him this. He was a gangster. He was like the most gangster president we had ever in any time period. He ran the White House like a gangster, like, you know, like organized crime. That's how he was running the White House. So saying all that to say he didn't walk on eggshells. He just said what he wanted to say. He didn't try to be politically correct. He didn't care who he offended. He kept it real. He told some lies, but essentially underneath the lies is a whole lot of truth too. So he told the truth about a whole lot of things as well. So when people was questioning him about things, he was just like, oh, well, just ask so-and-so. They was doing it before me. That's where I even got the idea from doing it, was from so-and-so and so-and-so, you know what I mean? So it's like, saying all that to say, even though he's going to get indicted, like a whole lot of truth is fitting to come out of this. A whole lot of things that's, you know, the government has been keeping a secret from us is coming out. And in this, because the way he's going to go down, I don't know if anybody has ever watched New Jack City. Like, Trump is like the orange version of Nino Brown. When he gets indicted, when that trial starts, he's going to pull a Nino Brown. He's going to take everybody down with him. It's going to be so entertaining. He's going to give up names. He's going to tell everything he could possibly tell. So like I said, I don't endorse, you know, his presidency, but we can't as a nation sit up there and blame every single wrong thing on Trump. Like, we can't act like racism just started existing when he got into the office. We can't sit up there and just blame every bad thing on him. Like, this little invisible thing, he already done told us, no matter who was in the White House, it was going to happen. In so many words, if you connect the dots and read in between the lines, he already told us. Like, he was in the press conference when somebody asked him about the C-19. He's like, it's just going to go away. It's just going to go away. It's going to be gone. And then what it do? It's gone. It's not here no more. People walking around without their mask. I mean, people still wear their mask, but it's not mandatory that you have to have one. It was talking about mandatory that you have to take the jab. You don't got to take the jab if you don't want to. When it first happened, but essentially it's gone now. Like, verbatim, so he didn't lie about that. Some other stuff he caught flack for after I sat back and started thinking about it. Like, he caught flack for the All-Stars, you know, when they go to the White House and they get treated to like a gourmet spread. Trump went and got McDonald's and pizza and, you know, all this QSR stuff. And, you know, it's traditions for him to go to the White House and get the 4-star treatment, like, you know, the rich frou-frou stuff, like that, like Gordon Ramsay level food. But he just fed them burgers and fries and pizza. This is all the stuff they eat anyway after a game. High school Hall of Famers, that's all the stuff they eat anyway. Like, the coach takes them out and he eats all that stuff anyway. Because if you think about it, who's paying for all these extravagant meals? Where's that money come from when they're eating them 4-star, you know, 4 or 5-star meals? Like, high school kids eating like canopies and, you know, rich people food like filet mignons and caviar and all that. Who's paying for that? I'm just saying, like, we can't just say he didn't do nothing right. We can't pin racism squarely on him. He was very insensitive. He said some nonsensical, just like anally retentive things, but then he also exposed a whole lot of truth about this nation that we live in. If you paid attention, if you were sitting up there paying attention instead of just one of them people that let your emotions get manipulated easily and not just like process what he's saying, like just automatically, you know, shut it out. Because like in that, you can learn a lot about this country from the stuff he was saying in his press conferences and how they do. So like essentially everything you ever said, like I'm not the first one to do it. I might be the worst one to ever do it, but I'm not the first one. Like, you know, like, so let's knock it off. Another thing I will say, every single president that we've ever had in the White House to make a plan to alleviate the nation's debt, such as switching the currency from an actual viable form of currency as opposed to, you know, this worthless paper money that we got. They've either been assassinated or been like, you know, drummed out of the White House by the media with the propaganda, you know, they've been vilified by the media. And Like one of the last things I will say about him, when the C-19 was going on, um, to make sure unemployed people had money, when it was getting all that unemployment, he minted a silver, what was it? A silver a silver like half dollar, whole dollar or something from in the U.S. Treasury, worth like over $1 billion. That's how they pay for most of it, instead of borrowing from other countries to pay for the people's unemployment. So like he didn't do everything bad is my point. Like he didn't just every single thing was bad. He messed us up pretty bad. Like it was a first. We had a lot of firsts when he was in office. Like it was real horrible, but it was just mostly horrible for Caucasian people because like the stuff that was happening in our community, it ain't nothing we haven't already saw. It was just like it was a shocker for Caucasian people. Cause like when the mask mandate was going on, when it was telling them they had to wear masks, like white people was losing their damn mind. What do you mean? This is America. You can't tell us what we have to do. We don't have to do anything. I pay taxes. I do what I want to do. Like we wasn't tripping because we get told no all the time. We can't do nothing. We get told no all the time. We can't sit in the park. We can't gather in public places. Even though it says it in the Constitution, we can't do it without police getting caught on us. We don't have the right to assemble peacefully. You saw how they was doing this in the so-called peaceful protests. We was peacefully assembling. We was getting maced, tased, pelted with rubber bullets, tear gas. In the civil rights era, they used to hose us down. But definitely, he was not the best president, but you can't go out of his way and say he's the worst one we ever had. Can't say it, I'm sorry. Whoever gets mad, you can't say he's the worst we ever had in office. He actually did do a couple things right. But this indictment will definitely shed some light on some things, and I know he's going to get to singing like a nightingale, and it's going to be so entertaining, the things he's going to say during the trial, because he don't care. Like he already showed the world, he don't care about nothing. He don't care about tact, decorum, anything. He might end up telling the judge to shut up. But that's it for the speaking point of the day. And on to my last section of the narrative podcast before I bring this and then after that I'll bring this to a close. Here's my final thought section. My final thought section is, a deep thought, words of wisdom, a pearl of wisdom, just something provocative, to resonate with you, to make you think critically, and just, something that will resonate with you, something wise, a gem, a pearl of wisdom, if you want to call it. Sometimes I say final thought, sometimes I say final word. I'm going with final thought of the day. Today. I still haven't made up my mind whether I want to call it the final thought or the final word. I kind of flip back and forth between both of them. Maybe for my next contest, I should reach out and be like, what do y'all think? Should I call it final thought or final word of the day? I don't know. Anyway, so final thought of today. It's not on you, it's in you. It's not on you, it's in you. That's something we kind of, it's a really old phrase. It's something we say in our neighborhoods. It's really old, timeless, a hood saying, but really, when you break that down, it's not on you, it's in you, as it pertains to our people. Okay? Because we got an acquired knowledge dwelling within us. We got an acquired knowledge within us. Like, we got things that's DNA coded in us. It's them little black dots in your cells. It's called the Akashic Records. And see, this is how we got our culture kind of railroaded from us. Because while other people was writing stuff down, we was getting divine instructions from within. And we knew how to access the Akashic Records. It's a library. We was setting up divine laws, divine precepts, concepts of law, concepts and laws of nature. We was walking in that. We knew how to flip between the physical realm and the spiritual realm instantaneously. Now it's like we have so many distractions, it takes like a really long time to do it. A really long time to tap into that type of power. You have to have a whole lot of discipline. Like in early civilization, it was just a natural occurrence to be able to do it, to access your Akashic Records. Not only do we have an Akashic Records, we also got a universal bank. We born rich, we born wealthy, we born with access to wealth. And it's money you can't ever spend up. You can never run out of it because we are eternal. This little thing we're in, it's a shell. When we leave this physical plane, we're still here. We just turn into a different form. Like all your relatives, mom, dad, cousin, all them people that you was sitting over there grieving over and weeping and, oh, mama, daddy, cuz, oh. All the people you was crying over, they still here. They still here? How do you think you get up and just do stuff? Like if your mom was overprotective of you when she was alive, and then after she passes away, you just instantly became independent because you knew you didn't have nobody to, fuss over you no more. Spoiler alert, mommy's still here. She's still wiping your nose. She's still cleaning up your boo-boos. You just can't see her. Like nothing happens over on accident. Like the ancestors is telling you so much. Like all your loved ones that was here like all your loved ones that's deceased now, they still all around you. They still looking at you. They still observing you. They still helping your simple behind. Like when you was alive. But you just can't, you're not getting it. So yeah, not only your relatives, but the ancestors as well. Like nowadays, a trendy thing to say is, I'm on my path. I'm on my path. When you're trying to do something, when you're trying to accomplish a goal, Because everybody wants to accomplish a goal, everybody wants to grind, everybody wants to manifest a certain lifestyle. Who do you think puts you on the path? What do you think got instilled in you to say, I need to do something with myself. I need to try to do X, Y, Z. It ain't on you, it's in you. In the Akashic Records, that's like not only everything you will be in life, it's what you once were in the former life, residing in you. From life cycle to life cycle. It ain't on you, it's in you. And when you realize that, you can't ever feel slighted, can't ever feel like somebody's taking something from you, misrepresenting you, trying to keep you from things that you're supposed to have. I mean, you can feel like that, you can feel whatever you want to feel, but when you're tapped in and know the divine and know who you are for real, you can never feel like that. Because those people outside, they just think they know who you are. But when you access them records, you know who you are. And you will walk with an air of confidence and an air of dignity because you know you'll never be without. You know you'll never be on the losing end of nothing. It ain't on you, it's in you. Even when it looks like you're down bad and other people might be talking about you and saying whatever they say, you ain't tripping because you already know how the story's end. You already know the long game, how it's going to end up. They're just judging you based off the short game, just on the right now. It ain't on you, it's in you. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Narrative Podcast. Please download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Join me next weekend for another full episode. I also tune in regularly so you do not miss me when I go live. I go live throughout the weekday randomly. I don't know the days when I go live, but to avoid missing me when I go live, follow me on YouTube, Halsey Allen. Hit the subscribe button. Click that notification bell and you will not miss me when I'm live because, this platform that I'm on, it transmits directly to YouTube. It transmits directly to YouTube and it also broadcasts directly to Twitter. So you can follow me on Halsey Allen on Twitter as well. If you want to not miss out on a live feed of the Narrative Podcast. Also, I wrote a book of poetry titled The Black Card. And if you have not purchased it yet, please do so. To purchase your copy of the Black Card, visit the bookstore at poetizer.com and purchase the Black Card. Also, I have my own personal poetry blog called Halsey's Poetry Corner. The email address is www.mrhalseysblogs.com. My tagline is Poetry with a Passion, poetry for all occasions. And when you read one of them, you'll find out why. So to support that, you simply go to my poetry blog on www.mrhalseysblogs.com. It's called Halsey's Poetry Corner. It's on blogger.com, powered by Adam. But you share a poem from Halsey's Poetry Corner to your social media platforms. Like share it to your YouTube, share it to your Facebook, your Twitter, Tumblr, whatever, your Instagram. Share one of my poems from there, or all of them if you want to. Also like, comment, and all that. And that's all I got going on for right now. I'm working on a dozen more projects, and when I finish completing one of them, I'll share with you. But that'll do it. Take care of yourself. Sending out love, light, healing energy. Join me again next weekend for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast, and Halsey Allen signing off. And it's like that.
Set your face on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, add a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit,